Hello, welcome to Planner's Place YouTube channel. I just realized it's been a while since I've done a video on Primavera P6. All my videos of late have been on Microsoft projects. So I guess I'm due a Primavera P6 video. Here it is. Today, I'm going to describe one way of using expenses or lump sum cost in Primavera P6 to generate data for S-curve. So this is for people who want to use lump sum cost instead of resources to generate their data, the baseline data, actual and forecast data for their S curves. There might be so many reasons why you want to use lump sum cost instead of expenses. I won't go into instead of resources. I won't go into that, but this tutorial is for those who, for one reason or the other, cannot use resources to generate their S curve data. So here it is. And assuming we have this schedule, so what I've done is to take one of the sample schedules that come P6, one of the sample schedules that come with P6, the next building expansion. I've changed the data date from 2011 to 2021. Just a few bit of formatting and have this. So assuming we have this schedule, this is the schedule we're gonna use to build to generate data for S curve. So I've got a few assumptions, and the first one is you know how to build a fully logic link schedule, and that's because I'm going to show early baseline and late baseline curves. So, and one way to confirm you've got a fully logic link schedule is to F9, go back to F9 again, and this time you view log. Make sure before you click F9, the first schedule the first time you've ticked this box, this checkbox, log to file, and then view the file log. Come to the warnings, you see there should be just one activity without a predecessor, one activity without a successor. So you've got a closed loop. Fine, so that's the first assumption. Go back to my slide. Second one is you have cost weightings defined for your schedule activities. You can get this from your cost engineer or QS guy. So, and for this is my cost weighting. So every activity in the schedule has a cost assigned to it, like a budget, except for milestones. Total budget it's 340,000 pounds. Just over 340,000 pounds. So yep, I've got that, and what I've done is I've removed all the WBS level headers and sorted it out, so it's like a table, a proper like Excel table. So, and it's sorted by activity ID. That is by activity ID. Yep, it has the budget here, 345, 340,000. You got 340,000, about 340,000. So a second assumption. And third one is you know how to assign progress in P6. You know how to assign actuals. So I'm using my percent complete type is physical. Is you know how to use rules of credit. You have your rules of credit defined to assign progress to activities. Then the final one is you know how to plot S curves in Excel. I'll show you how to do that, but not everything. So assumption that you know how to do this yourself. Once you have the data, you can plot away. So first thing is assign cost weightings to activities. If we look at our P6 schedule, go to confirm that because I'm going to use expenses, go to the you can that the directory John click expenses, no expense item assigned. Go back to activities. I'm to add a column. So I go to cost, get budgeted expense cost. You can see it's well 0 1 2. Want the cost in our Excel spreadsheet transferred to P6. So we're going to import it. First of all, I better save this layout. All this under project. Let's build all this. The S curve. Data. Oh, a progress update. So the reason why I'm saving the WBS layout is so that I can make changes to the columns without affecting the main layout, which is what I'll issue. So if we're going to issue this schedule, I'll use the WBS, the main layout, and when I'm carrying out my monthly updates, I'll use this new layout I just saved. I save this. So what I want to do is export this to Excel. So I'll export. Spreadsheet. I want to export activities and expenses. Select the project I want to export. And for template, add a new template. And I'll name it activity weighting import because that's what I want to do. So I've got two subject areas, activities and expenses. So I'll configure the activities subject area first. Activity ID, status, WBS, those are defaults. I'll leave activity name. I can leave start and finish date. Don't need resources. Filter, don't apply any filter. So I've got all activities selected. For sort, to sort it, so I'll go activity ID. Okay. For expenses, so I've got activity ID, expense item, status. Yep. Budgeted cost, which is what I want. Well, remaining cost, complete cost. No filter, it's fine. All expense. Sort, I've got no expense item just now in the schedule. So I'll leave that. So yeah, I can say okay. Next. To save this. Yep, it's in the right folder. So for you, you save it somewhere on your laptop or your desktop. Yes. Next, say finish. Successfully exported. I'll open the file. Yep. So got three tabs: the tax tab, which is for activities; the project cost tab, which is for expenses, and the user data. Don't touch anything in this user data file. You can see the expense tab, project cost is empty. The activity, we've got this. So all I need to do, copy, because it's sorted by activity IDs. Copy this, paste it here, then go to my other spreadsheet. Budget, but this spreadsheet, paste here. Seeing it as date, so just right click, format, let's change to number to back where you want. Now I need to assign an expense item to this, so I could just call it S curve. Drag this down. This, close this file, go back to P6, import, select spreadsheet, file to import. So save the, there's this file. Only want to import expenses. Not made any changes to my activities. So next, go to project. Then next, finish. Those, yep, successful. So we've got your 340,532 pounds. Go to budget. If you look at that's what we've got here too. So import has been successful. Means can close this Excel file now. Save it. Yep. So successfully imported. So we've assigned weightings to our activities. That's the first main task completed. The next one will be to generate data for baseline early and late curves. So if we go back to our P6 schedule, to do that, we need time phase data export from P6. So we go to reports, click reports. Now the cost and schedule group, I already have two reports. Just delete them so that I can create new ones. So here, I'm going to use the report group cost and schedule. You can use any one of your choosing. Click new report. It opens up the report wizard. I'll say next. Because I say I want a time phase. I want to see phasing, like monthly phasing. I'll use time distributed data. Select activity. Go next under columns. For the selected options, I only want activity ID. Click OK. For group and sort, I'll do by WBS. Because I just trying to show you how to generate the data. I only do for overall project S curve. So I'll say level 1. But for if you need to go to lower level, let's say you got project phases, engineering, procurement, construction, installation, that might be your level 2. And if you want to go lower, you go level 3 or 4. But in this case, I'll go level 1. Don't need the ID and code, and I only want summaries. I don't want the details, so I'll go summary, click OK. Don't need any filter. Go next. Now, for time scale, I'll leave this time interval, leave this the default selections here. For time scale, I'll go project start because this is baseline minus 1 month. I'm going to use my date interval is monthly. If you report progress weekly, your date interval will be weekly. But for me, I'm assuming I'll be reporting progress monthly. This tutorial, so I've gone for month. On the timescale finish, I'll leave it at project finish. That's fine. Okay. For the time interval fields, got two options, cumulative or time interval, which is your periodic data. I'm going to use cumulative, and the reason is I'm not planning to use I'm not planning to store period performance when it comes to actuals. So it's best I use cumulative. Else, P6 would distribute all the actuals uniformly from the start to date up to data date, and whatever you've reported in the previous month might be less or more than what it shows the next month. But with cumulative, you always have the total achieved data date, and then you can you can calculate your periodic progress in Excel, subtracting the previous cumulative from the latest cumulative. So I'm going to use cumulative, and because I'm using expenses, it's cost. So I'm going to say cumulative remaining expense costs. That's our early baseline data, and cumulative late expense costs. That's for our late baseline data. Click OK and go next. So for name, we'll call it baseline S-curve data. Now to run the report, click run. Got different options, but I want it in Excel, so I go delimited text file, which is a CSV file. The delimiter, it's comma, that's fine. The text qualifier, I want double quotes. And I have the checkbox to view file when done selected. Location, I go back to my directory, find somewhere to save this, save, say OK. Here we are. So I've got the time phase data from my data date. So because I said PS -1, project start -1 is shown from April, and that way I can make it 0 to 100. And the final, it's the 340,532 pounds. Yep, it's fine for us. I'll leave this. I'll come back to this, but for now, let me go back to P6. Yep, that's fine. Click next. Need to save this report so that I can use it on another project. Save. Say OK when prompted. Click finish. You see our baseline SQL data report has been saved. And I've gone for report scope. Selected global. The default is global so that it's available to all projects. That's yeah. So if I go back to I go to activity, now that I've exported my baseline data, I would like to set my baseline. So if I go maintain baseline, add, I want to save a copy of my current project as a baseline. Okay. Yep. It. Um, so close this, the project, assign baseline, to assign the baseline, project baseline and primary baseline. Okay. I come to our CSV file, save the CSV. So I need to save this as Excel. So save as yep, XLS format, change to Excel workbook. And I'll call this, I can use this file for plotting the S-curve. I'll say progress. Okay, I've got a file here. I just replace it, progress file. Yep. I'm going to do a bit of formatting. So it looks fine. So come here and say baseline. I'll just say early baseline, percent, and late percent. Shoot. To freeze this, so go this pane, so that's the right. So for the month before the start of the project, it's 00. One decimal place. For early baseline, what I'll do is I'll go equal to sign, pick the cumulative at end of May, divide by total budget, which will show at the end here. Make an absolute reference. Can now drag the formula down and pick for the late. Drag it to the right. So April, what I need to do, what as percentage. So there you have it, from 0 to 100. To plot our baseline curve, I go to insert in the chart, in the line chart. So I go line chart. I think I want one with markers. So line chart, go to select data, right click, select data, select line of the percent for, that'll give me series for horizontal axis. And 1, 2, 3. Now that. Select date range. Okay. I'll move this chart to another tab. a bit element, add data table. So we add data table with legend key. Else. Format the y-axis. The highest should be 100, not 120. Duplicate. So you can see on the x-axis, we've got duplicate. The data table comes with the month, and also the x-axis has it. So that click format axis under label position next to axis. Go for none. Takes it off. If I can format this to format plot area, like to fill it, the color, no, something lighter. Yep. Okay. Chart title, click progress. Expansion progress. Okay. So as you can see, we've got our early curve, the blue line, and a late curve, the orange line. So that's generated the data, and we've plotted for the baseline S curve. So the next step for us is to generate data for actual and forecast curves. Okay, if we go back to P6, so we've set our baseline. As you can see under the on the status bar, you can see that we've got a baseline set. So we need to add some more columns to our layout, our update layout. So to assign actuals, I need percent complete. Add preferences to use performance percent complete so that it can roll up to WBS level. You can see edit, change it to percent. Got budgeted expense costs, so we need to go to cost actual expense cost, remaining expense cost, and completion expense cost. Save. Live. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is progress this schedule, say to the end of May. Assuming the first progress report we want to do is will be for May. So we'll set the data date to 1st of June and progress activity. So I'm going to assume most activities have started as planned. So if I go I'll pause this video now, assign actuals for May activities for May, and then come back and generate the actual data and forecast data as at the end of May. So I've updated the schedule to the end of May, and you can see one activity time building addition that has started, showing it 30% complete. It's giving us an overall percent complete of 1.08. If we go to our Excel, you see should have been early baseline and late should have been 1.8. We can also confirm this in P6, so let's add another column. So the baseline percent column, schedule percent complete. So to add that, edit it and just call it percent. Yep, showing 1.83. It's 1.8, which is same as we have Excel. Maybe I should make these 2 decimal places. Yep, 1.83 is what we're expecting. You got 1.83 here. So that's our actual up to this. To generate our data, you notice that even though this is showing 30%, there's no actual expense costs, and the remaining is the same amount as the budget, and you can see 240,532 pounds. And the reason is because there's no link between the percent complete and expenses. So expenses has got its own percent complete field. I go back, columns, and complete. The expense cost percent complete. I name this expense percent complete. Edit it, percent. See that it's 0. So we need a way to transfer this 30%, to link this 30% to this field, to transfer it from the performance percent complete field to expense percent complete, and that way the actual expense cost, the weighting, calculate the actual cost weighting will be calculated based on this expense percent complete. And to do that, we're going to need a user-defined field. So what I'm thinking of doing, create a user-defined field, export this percent complete, the performance percent complete to Excel, copy it from Excel, from the activity tab onto the project cost tab, paste it in that user-defined field, import it back into P6, and use global change to do it. So I go to P6, user-defined fields. Subject area, I go to project expenses. I already have one defined, UDF expense percent update. I want to update the expense percent complete. The data type is number, close it. The export to Excel spreadsheet, next, expenses and activities, get my project. So with a new template, and I'm gonna call it expense and update. I need resources, need to export the percent complete. So if I go to percent, 1%, yep. Filter all activities, sort by activity ID. The expenses, um, don't need any of the costs. Don't need a user defined field. I've got my user defined field here. Filter all this. Not I need to do it by activity ID. Straightforward copy and paste. Good to go. Okay. Next. Okay. Event date. Initiate it from the earlier export. Export was successful. On the file. Is this percent complete? I want to copy. I want to paste it here. So because they are both sorted by activity ID, I think to go copy this, copy, come here, paste, save, file, go back to P6, port, spreadsheet, directory, select the file, next, we want to import expenses to my finish, it's successful. To confirm that's imported, so if I go to expenses, expense tab at the bottom here, is that if incomplete. Okay, yeah, we can see 30% here, also here now, expense percent is 30%. Yep. No, that's imported. Still no change with our main expense percent complete field. So this I need a global change. I go to tools, global change. Say new with the name expense percent date. Subject area, I go to expenses. I just for the if section, I'll leave it empty. For the then statement, click on it, add, go expense percent complete is equal to or user defined field date UDF expense percent update. Change. See, it shows you the global change report, fully updated one activation 0, 30%. Yeah. Commit changes. You want to save log? No. And I say, okay, close this. The global change is saved and I can use it for future updates. Close this. And you can see the actual expense cost has now been updated. The expense percent complete is also updated, showing 30%. It's aligned to the expense percent column is showing the same percent complete as performance percent complete column. Got actual remaining expense cost. The out completion still remains the same. So in its aligned, our weighting has been updated. So what I need to do now is generate another time phased report. If I go to report under my cost and schedule group, Click add new report. That opens. Click new report. Same thing with the last time. Time distributed data, activities, column, activity. Okay. Consult. Go WBS. One. Want to show summary. I don't need the ID. Okay. Filter. Next. Time scale. So this time is different because we're doing actuals. I don't want um, to go all the way back. So I'll reference the data date. It should start at data date minus 1 month. So because my data date is the beginning of a new month, I'm saying I need actuals for the previous month, which is, so in my case, I need actuals for May because my data date is the 1st of June. Using week, I would advise you say data date minus 1 week, so that you get the actuals for the previous week. Timescale finish, yeah, project finish is still fine for me. Go, okay. My field, or this time, remember I said because we're not storing actual, we're not doing using stored period performance in P6, I'm going for cumulative. So this time what I want is cost, so cumulative actual expense cost, and for my forecast, I'll go, so I'm looking for the at completion expense cost, the end of each month. Click OK. So this will present my actual progress and this will give me my forecast data. Say OK. Go next. For this, I'll call it actual and forecast S curves. So next, the delimited text file, field delimiter, comma is fine, text, for double quotes, save location to save this, save it to the other files. Save, make sure this new file when done checkbox is ticked. So click OK, and it opens. So the actual, it shows the actual came all the way through. So I only need, so at this point, and for forecast, gives me the cumulative forecast all the way through. And so, yep, still 340,532 pounds. So come to my progress file, call this baseline to do a bit of formatting. Yeah, merge that. So okay. To call actual. Percent. I'll copy this again. All this forecast this. Now go back to this spreadsheet export. You will notice that it now extends to May, but our baseline stopped in April. So just from one update, the schedule has slipped by 1 month. So I need to extend this to May. Spreadsheet for May, copy the actual, come back to paste it, the your formula, go this divided by budget, which give me 1 point. Now, don't need all this. Actual is just up to May. 1.8%. If you come to our, I think I need to save this. Here, say next. Save it. As you can see, it's saved, so we can use it every month. Go to my layout. The actual is 1.08%. What we have here. For the forecast, if I go to my spreadsheet, copy from May of May 23. Yeah, paste this here. Formula. Divide by that. It's will do it 100%. I don't need this. You can delete this. So you have to you're familiar with generating S curve. Your actual and forecast they meet at data date point. So you have to make sure that whatever is showing for actual matches what's at the beginning of the forecast. So since it matches, you have got 1.08, 1.08. Go back to my chart, select data, add new curve, for name, actual. That okay for now to edit this to here, change this forecast. Change this to my data name. Do edit. For the horizontal axis, I need to extend it to May. Send it to me. It's A. A bit of formatting. Don't like this yellow status. Darker blue. Or say, let's go red. Sure. Change that to bright green. The, the markers. Okay. So that's our progress curve for the first month. This is your S curve. But I think maybe I should generate more. So maybe update the schedule up to the end of July 2021, and then we'll see how the S curve looks like. And then take a break, update the schedule, and then come back to the video. So I've not updated the schedule till the end of July. I've only plotted the curves up to end of June. Let's do that of July together. So what we need is to export our percent complete, update the user defined field, import back to P6. So we go export spreadsheet, select our project, select our template, next, file is then update file we want this, next, finish, successful, the file. So I want to do is copy data column and complete column, tax tab to the cost tab, paste in the user time field, save it, file, back to Pix, port, spreadsheet, file, select expenses, data type, Put project and say finish. Import was successful. So now we get from the global change. Already have it saved. So apply the change. It was 90, it's now 100. 0 is now 5. Yep. Commit change to save log. Nope. You can see percent 6.3.63, expense percent 3.6, way be almost halfway behind. Baseline 6.3. But that's fine. Now generate our reports, our and forecast data. You go to reports. You have that report saved. Need to do is right click on your report. Yeah, get text file, comma, double quotes, checkbox tick, click file name. Yes. So because you're doing this monthly, you need to keep a record of all your exports. So I'm going to save this as 21-07. And see, I've saved that of May, June. So this is for July. Click save. Okay. Open. Yep. So actual for July is 12,000. Copy that. Come to a progress file. Paste it here. Okay. Drag this across. For the forecast, copy from July, May. Come back to our progress file. July, okay. Yep. Now, and you delete the June forecast figure. What I've done is in color to highlight my the current month, so you see all the actuals up to time now. So our curve, the July has not been updated. There's something wrong with my actual curve. So if I right click, select actual percent, edit. So you can see series value stops June. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is select all the way to the end of the project. And that way, once you update your values, it's plotted automatically. Okay. See, we're even behind the late curve. Not good. So ideally, it should be between the early and the late. I've assigned very low percentages. But basically, just to show you how to use expenses for lump sum cost to generate your P6, your S-curve data. Yep. So any questions, just give us a shout. Pop your questions in the comment box below the video or go to my blog and use the contact form there and send me a message. Thank you for watching and catch you some other time. All the best. Cheers.